You ever notice how some people just stay on your mind? You check your phone, nothing. Check again, still nothing. And suddenly, you're the one obsessed, wondering what magic they wove into those few text messages that's got you hooked like this. Here's what nobody tells you. Attraction isn't built in grand gestures. It's built in the tiny spaces between words, in the rhythm of when you respond, in the invisible dance of curiosity and fulfillment. And today, I'm pulling back the curtain on the psychology that makes someone unable to stop thinking about you. Because here's the truth, and I want you to really sit with this. The most magnetic people aren't trying to be memorable. They understand something deeper about human nature. Let me paint you a picture. Your brain on a good conversation is like a gambler at a slot machine. Not because you're desperate, but because you're experiencing what neuroscientists call variable rewards. You pull the lever, or in this case, send a text, and sometimes you get an instant reply. Sometimes you wait 3 hours. Sometimes the response is exactly what you hoped for. Sometimes it's even better. This unpredictability, it's literally the same mechanism that makes games addictive. But here's where it gets beautiful. You're not manipulating anyone. You're creating space for genuine intrigue to breathe. Think about the people who've captivated you. They weren't available 24/7. They had a life that pulled them away from their phone. And when they did respond, there was substance there, texture, something that made you feel seen rather than just heard. The open loop philosophy. Now, here's where most people get texting completely wrong. They think closure is kindness. They wrap everything up in a neat bow, answer every question fully, explain every thought completely. But attraction lives in the ellipsis. The conversations that stay with you are the ones that feel unfinished. Not in a frustrating way, but like a good book you can't put down because you need to know what happens next. Here's how this looks in practice. Instead of,
"Yeah, I had a great weekend, went hiking, saw some friends, cooked a big dinner,"
try, "Stumbled into the strangest conversation with a stranger this weekend. Actually changed how I think about something." See what happened there? The story has a shape, but not a conclusion. It invites curiosity without demanding it. The other person now has a choice. Lean in or let it go. And that choice is where connection actually happens. The mirror and the mystery. There's this delicate balance, and I really want you to feel this, between reflecting someone and remaining mysterious. The people who become unforgettable do both simultaneously. They mention they're stressed about a presentation. You remember to ask how it went. They share a random passion for obscure 80s movies. You actually watch one and bring it up later. This is emotional attentiveness. It says, "I see you," without saying anything at all. But mystery? That's about editing. Not every thought needs to be texted. Not every update needs to be shared. Your inner world should feel vast enough that every conversation is just scratching the surface of something deeper. The texters who become obsession-worthy understand they're not trying to be an open book. They're trying to be a book someone wants to keep reading. Timing as an art form. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Response time. And I'm going to tell you something that might feel counterintuitive. It's not about waiting X minutes to respond. That's a tactic. And tactics feel hollow. It's about genuinely having a life that's engaging enough that your phone isn't your primary source of dopamine. When you're deeply absorbed in something, your work, your creative projects, time with friends, a book that's blowing your mind, you naturally create space. And that space is magnetic because it's real. The other person can sense that you're not playing games. You're just living a life that's full. And when you do respond, you're present. Not half distracted, not firing off low-effort replies. You're bringing your actual attention to the conversation. This is the rhythm that creates obsession, presence, and absence, woven together like a heartbeat. The vulnerability paradox. Here's where it gets really interesting. The texts that lodge themselves in someone's memory aren't the smooth, polished ones. They're the ones where you let your guard down just enough to be human.
"Honestly, I've been thinking about what you said the other day, and I think you might be right. Lands differently than, yeah, totally agree."
Vulnerability is the crack in the armor that lets light through. It's not about trauma dumping or oversharing. It's about letting someone see that you're a real person with doubts and curiosities and moments of uncertainty. The paradox, showing you're human makes you more captivating, not less. The exit that creates entrance. And here's the final piece that ties everything together. Knowing when to end the conversation first. Not abruptly, not rudely, but gracefully stepping away while things are still good, while there's still energy, while they're still wanting more.
"Hey, I've got to run, but I'm really glad we talked about this. Let's pick this up soon."
You're showing that you value your time, that the conversation mattered, but so does what you're moving toward next. And psychologically, this does something profound. It preserves the positive emotional charge, instead of letting it dissipate into small talk and eventual boredom. So here's what I want to leave you with. The psychology that makes someone obsessed isn't about tricks or manipulation. It's about understanding that attraction is built in the space between connection and independence. It's about being interesting because you're interested, in life and growth, in the world beyond your phone. The most magnetic texters aren't trying to be magnetic. They're just living in a way that makes people curious about the life behind the words. And maybe that's the real secret. Stop trying to make them obsessed. Start building a life that's so rich, so textured, so genuinely yours that anyone who gets a glimpse can't help but want to see more. Because ultimately, the best text you can send is the one that comes from someone who doesn't need the response to feel whole, but welcomes it, when it comes, as an addition to an already beautiful thing. Keep creating those connections, and remember, you're not just texting, you're composing little moments of human connection that ripple outward in ways you might never fully see.